Change doesn't knock on the door. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It flows quietly, relentlessly, beneath the surface of everything you are. And by the time you notice it, you've already become someone else. The ancient philosopher Heraclitus once said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man." But what does that mean really? It means that life is motion, that identity is illusion, that everything we hold, everything we fear, everything we are is temporary. The river moves, and so do we. But here's the thing. Most of us try to dam the current. We want things to stay, to be certain, to make sense. We fear the current because it means letting go of what we knew. But to resist change is to resist life itself. This video is not about answers. It's about surrender. It's about transformation. It's about recognizing that we are constantly becoming, even when we're standing still. So, take a breath, because the river is here, and so are you. But neither of you are who you were yesterday. We brush our teeth, drink our coffee, put on the same clothes, walk the same streets, and convince ourselves that we are unchanged. But beneath the skin, things are shifting. Our thoughts are evolving. Our hearts are quietly healing or quietly breaking. Our bodies are aging, adapting, remembering. Yet we cling to the illusion of stillness, as if repeating routines will protect us from time. "I am who I was," we whisper. But even that sentence is outdated by the time we say it. We don't step into the same life twice, because our past selves are ghosts. We carry unknowingly that version of you who loved recklessly, who believed blindly, who feared the world, or stood fearlessly in it, is gone. And maybe that's not a tragedy. Maybe it's the point, because growth is the soul's way of telling time. And time, it doesn't ask permission to pass. Memory lies, not maliciously, but gently, like a mother softening the edges of pain. So we can keep walking. We remember moments as if they are frozen snapshots. But memory is alive. It breathes, it reshapes, it reinterprets. Every time we recall a moment, we alter it slightly, just enough to make it feel manageable. We want to believe that the past is solid, that the people we were will always be accessible. But what happens when you return to a place from your childhood, and it feels smaller, quieter, almost unreal? It's not just the place that changed. You never really remember the moment. You remember the you that experienced it, and that you is gone. So, we chase memories trying to find ourselves, only to realize we've already outgrown the reflection. But perhaps the goal is not to reclaim the past. Perhaps the goal is to honor it, learn from it, and then let it flow downstream. At some point, quietly, without ceremony or closure, the version of yourself you were working so hard to become. You don't even notice it at first. You keep chasing the dream, keep running the script, until one day, you look in the mirror and realize that person is no longer there. Maybe you used to want fame, or love that looked good in photos. Maybe you thought success was a straight line. Grind now, shine later. But time has a way of teaching what ego never could. It humbles, it strips, it whispers truths we don't want to hear. That future you imagined, it belonged to a version of you that no longer exists. It's not failure, it's evolution. And it hurts God, it hurts to grieve a self that never fully arrived, to bury a dream you once believed was your destiny. But here's the secret no one tells you. You're supposed to outgrow your fantasies, because the real you beneath all the projections is far more complex and far more alive. Change is often quiet. It doesn't come with fireworks or warning bells. It slips in during the in-between moments, the pauses between chapters, the silences after goodbye, the stillness before dawn. We often don't notice the transformation until we're confronted with something old, an ex's name, a favorite song, an old fear, and realize it no longer fits, like a coat we used to wear that now feels too tight around the chest. This is how we shed our past selves, not with announcements, but with subtle shifts in how we respond to the world. The person who once begged for closure now walks away quietly, The version of you who needed validation now finds peace in solitude. The boy or girl who once cried out for love now whispers it inward. We change not by force, but by becoming unable to remain the same. The river moves, and without realizing it, so do we. And though there's grief in that, there's also grace, because every self you've ever been has led you here, and you are not done becoming. There's a quiet terror that lurks beneath the surface when we face change. Not the loud, dramatic fear, but the subtle, whispering kind. It asked, who am I if not this? Who am I without my routines, my familiar pain, my carefully constructed story? We hold tightly to old versions of ourselves like lifelines, even when those versions cause us pain, because losing ourselves feels like falling into a void, like being untethered in an ocean with no shore. But here's the paradox. To find who we truly are, we must first lose who we thought we were. Letting go isn't surrender. It's an act of courage, a leap into the dark with the hope that we will land. The river doesn't ask if you want to move. It doesn't wait for your permission. It carries you forward, whether you fight or float. And maybe, just maybe, that's where freedom begins. I remember the moment clearly. A rainy evening, the kind that feels heavy with unsaid words. I was standing on a street I used to know well, but it felt foreign now. Familiar faces walked past, yet none of them belonged to me anymore. I realized then how far I had drifted, not in distance, but in self. For years, I was someone else, chasing ideals, wearing masks, hiding scars. I thought I needed to be fixed before I could live fully, but that night, soaked by rain and stripped of pretenses, I met myself again. Not the perfect version I imagined, but the broken, messy, evolving soul beneath. I whispered, I'm here. And for the first time in a long time, that was enough, because sometimes the greatest act of love is to simply show up for yourself. Even if you don't have all the answers, there is a strange beauty in knowing nothing lasts, in realizing every moment is a fleeting brushstroke on the canvas of time. Like the river, we are fluid, shaped by the stones we pass, the sky above, and the quiet pull of the current beneath. Our lives are poems written in impermanence, each stanza a breath, each line a transformation. To hold on to permanence is to deny the very essence of existence. To resist change is to resist the unfolding of our own story. How strange it is, a poet once wrote, to be here for a moment and then gone, like a whisper lost in the wind. And yet, within this transience lies grace. The grace to begin again, to rewrite, to become. Look into the river's surface, not to find answers, but to see yourself shifting. Ripples distort your reflection, changing with every passing second. So it is with identity. You are never a fixed image, but a dance of light and shadow, movement and stillness. Sometimes the flow is gentle, a slow drift through calm waters. Other times a torrent, wild, chaotic, overwhelming. And in both, you are learning. The river does not judge its path, neither should you. Embrace the flow, trust the currents beneath, and know that in every drop of water, there is life, constantly changing, constantly becoming. We carry the river of our past inside us, currents of memories, regrets, joys, and sorrows that flow beneath the surface of our everyday lives. Sometimes the weight feels unbearable, like dragging stones beneath the water, silent burdens that slow us down, hold us back from moving freely. But what if the river doesn't ask us to carry it? What if its purpose is not to drown us in the past, but to teach us how to let go, to release the heavy stones, to allow the current to wash away what no longer serves us? Because the river is patient. It doesn't rush. It doesn't judge. It simply flows, inviting us to surrender. And in surrender, we find a strength deeper than resistance, a peace born from acceptance. There is a moment when you stop fighting the current and realize you are the river itself, not just a passerby, but the very flow that moves through time and space. You become the water that carves mountains, the quiet voice that sings through valleys, the endless dance of change and renewal. To become the river is to embrace uncertainty, to welcome the unknown as an old friend, and to find beauty in the constant motion of life. It means trusting that even when the path twists and turns, even when the waters rise and fall, you are enough, you are whole, and just like the river, you are always becoming, never stagnant, never still. No river is perfect. It twists, it turns, sometimes it floods, sometimes it dries. Its beauty lies not in flawlessness, but in its honest, raw existence. So too are we imperfect beings navigating imperfect lives. We stumble, we falter, we lose our way. And yet, in those very moments, we discover our resilience, our authenticity. The river doesn't apologize for its bends. It owns its journey, wild, messy, unpredictable. What if we did the same? What if we stopped hiding our scars, our mistakes, our fears? What if we embraced the chaotic, beautiful mess that makes us who we are? Because in imperfection lies truth, and in truth there is freedom. The river reminds us that life is a cycle, a constant coming and going, a never-ending dance between presence and absence. We step into the river and we are changed. We leave parts of ourselves behind, old wounds, old selves, old dreams. But we also bring new life with us, hope, wisdom, courage. The river flows beyond us, past our fears, past our grief, past our doubts. And though we may never step in the same river twice, we are always connected to its eternal flow. Life is not about holding on to a single moment. It's about learning to move with grace through every one. And in that flow, we find not an end, but a beginning, again and again. Life's impermanence can feel unsettling, but resisting it only brings suffering. Instead, wisdom comes when we learn to flow with change, to embrace uncertainty as a natural part of our journey. As Heraclitus, the ancient philosopher who first said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice," reminds us everything is in constant flux. In The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, we learn that true peace arises when we accept the present moment, fully not clinging to what was, nor fearing what might be. Similarly, in Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, we see that embracing change is a mark of strength and resilience, a way to live in harmony with the world's natural order. My advice is simple yet profound. Stop fighting the current of your life. Surrender to the flow. Trust that each moment brings something valuable. And remember that transformation is not a loss, but a becoming. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on where you are resisting change in your life. Share your thoughts or stories in the comments below. Let's create a space where we support each other through our rivers of transformation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join the Innerverse community, where we explore life's deepest questions and grow together. Remember, you are not alone on this river, and every step forward is a step toward becoming.